the country, probably somebody you're not going to face all year. Talk about trying to slow down Dak Prescott.
He's a handful. First off, first thing that stands out is his size. Obviously, being a fifth-year guy, been around the program, been around the same offense the entire time. Most impressive thing to me is he doesn't put the ball in danger. I think he's got 182 attempts with 0 interceptions. Offensive line does a phenomenal job up front, gives them time, and then if something does break down, he has the wheels to make things happen. So he's going to be a handful.
How does that change things knowing that you turn the ball over? You can't really rely on trying to get a few interceptions like you did against UTSA?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and really, it's honestly it's quite frustrating so far this year is we can't give up the big play for a touchdown. I've really since Western Kentucky, it's happened almost every single game, and that's something we pride ourselves on here. And ultimately it falls on me, but it hadn't happened so far up to date. But that's something that we got to take more serious, and we got to get that fixed immediately, or it's going to be a long day.
What were some of those issues? Looked like both the slants came in zone coverage.
Yeah, and both the slants, honestly, will probably be completed in that coverage. We just got to vice the ball and make the play, and make them 15-yard gains and make them snap it again. On the first one, we had bad eyes and a bad angle, and he goes untouched. And the second one, same thing, really bad eyes, and both safeties don't vice the ball, and it goes for 57 yards instead of 15. So something, on the back end, we just got to take better angles and key the hip and get there and get them on the ground, whatever it takes. But that is the number one priority from this week and for the year.
How are you approaching this week going up against Manny, a guy that you spent a lot of time under the past couple of years?
I don't think the approach is any different. We don't play each other per se. Our defense isn't playing their defense. It's probably a little more meaningful, having the relationship that we have. We talk every single week, still to this day, and we're good friends off the field. So I'm sure, it's bragging rights, so it's a little more meaningful.
When you look at your safety play overall thus far this season, maybe some of the deep plays are going to come back to the safeties. They can't get beat deep. How do you evaluate them overall?
Honestly, they've been up and down. The thing is they got to be more consistent. And I think they've improved every week, but they're still not, in my opinion, playing at the level they were last year, and we got to get them to that level again. And safety is a crucial position in our defense. They kind of make the defense go round. So we just got to get more consistent back there.
It probably goes without saying, with those guys being some of your veterans on your defense, that it's been a surprise that they've struggled a little bit.
Yeah, it really has, and it's just small things. It's attention to detail, and everything's fixable. It's not anything athletically. Obviously, being veterans, they've made those plays time and time again. We just have to be more consistent.
Mississippi State hasn't run the ball a whole lot or with a whole lot of success. Dak Prescott's their leading rusher with 200-something yards. I know stopping the run's paramount for you guys. How does their rushing attack stack up?
Their rushing attack's good. I mean, up front, they're going to be similar to probably Kansas State, probably a little bit longer and a little more athletic than they were. But up front, they're really, really good. They got two backs. One's a power back and one's kind of a scat back. They do a lot. Their running game, they have every run imaginable. We got to play with great eyes and fit it properly because they do have the ability to move the chains and really be adequate in the running game.
Last week you had a really inexperienced quarterback. This week you've got probably one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country. How do you portray that to your players?
The biggest thing is trying to make it difficult on the quarterback until the ball snap. If we undress ourselves before the ball snap, he'll eat us alive. He's seen every coverage, and really he's seen pretty much the defense that he'll see Saturday that he's seen all through spring and all through fall camp. obviously with Manny at Mississippi State. So we just got to do a good job not letting them know what we're in until the ball snaps.
In the second half against UTSA, did y'all blitz as much as you did in the first half, or was that? And if you didn't, was that by design?
No, we didn't. You know, a lot of it had to do with making adjustments to what they were doing. They started trying to spread us out and hitting quick game, so we didn't bring as much pressure as we did in the first half. But you know, the frustrating thing about last week is understanding that if they nickel and dime us here and there, make them snap it again. The frustrating thing, like I said, is those two explosive plays. They had 300 total yards of offense, and a third of that came on 2 slant routes, which is unacceptable. But we started backing off the pressure just based off of what they were doing to us.
This game has been on this Mississippi State and on the schedule for a couple years. What did you first think when Manny left for Mississippi State last year, knowing that you were going to get an opportunity to play against him this year?
I told him we're coming after him. I said, you circle the date, you know. But, no, we both joked about it, and I told him don't steal any of our signals. But we'll see if that happens. But we've talked about it, and we're both excited for this opportunity, and it's always good to see him. So I'm excited about it.
How do you think that changed things? You touched on it briefly, but you know, a lot of what Mississippi State's offense sees in practice on a daily basis is a lot of what Louisiana Tech runs.
Oh,
or at least ran last year, so there's a lot of similarities.
It's a great advantage, you know, the terminology. I'm sure their offensive line and everything is going to know our terminology. So we got to change some things up signal-wise and terminology-wise, so they can't just adjust to whatever we're barking at the line of scrimmage. So they got a good advantage in that department, that's for sure.
I know you always want to take away the run, and that usually helps you in the passing game, and you did that, you know, holding on to 1.9 yards per carry. That's a good thing. Was that the most frustrating part, that you took away
Absolutely.
the run offense, and the pass defense that really didn't carry over?
Absolutely, and that's what I keep going back to. Our run defense, for the most part, was pretty stout all night. We let a couple of zone reads get outside of us. But for the most part, we were pretty stout in run defense. And then, like I said, really the nickel and dime stuff, I can live with that. But it's the big plays, and it's really the big plays for touchdowns. If it's a 15, 20-yard game, we get on the ground, make them snap it again, I got confidence that we can keep them out of the end zone. But, you know, whenever we let a 5-yard slant go for 57 and 39 yards or whatever it was, I got an issue with that.